Well, good morning and happy Easter to every one of you. And the question I always ask my brother Easter morning, did you find an egg in your shoe this morning? Because our mother used to do that every year growing up. I don't know why, but anyway, you gotta be kidding me. No, no eggs in the shoes today. All right. We are opening with a beautiful song by the Heart Song Choir, and they are loaded with energy this morning, so enjoy.
Yay. Yay.
Good morning, everyone. We're so happy to see you today. Heart Song Choir invites you to join in our first song, Christ the Lord is Risen Today. We've hidden a little Easter egg in your program for you. It's the first and fourth verses of Christ the Lord is Risen Today. So you're very welcome to sing first and fourth. Thank you.
That brings back a lot of memories. I hope it does for you too. Well, I'm Reverend Dr. Mary Mitchell. I'm a practitioner here and love being here at this center. It's a place where we inspire and encourage people to live spiritually fulfilling lives. A lot of new classes are coming along, so I hope you take advantage of that. Right now, I'd like to invite the children up, and I see we have quite a few, So come on up, and Lindy's going to pan the camera. So all the rest of you, please look at the camera and wave to those in the world who are looking at us today. Good morning and happy Easter. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Woo, woo. Oh my gosh.
The most church has ever had inside.
Hi. We'll just find our space. Okay, we're going to sing to you guys. Are you ready? All right. I'm going to wait till they shut the door. So I'm opening up, and I go out and back, and I see Lori and Dan Rizzi with bags, and I thought, they're picking up trash? No, they were putting out 200 eggs. So I applaud. That is so wonderful. It was so funny. I said, what are you doing picking up trash? Anyway. All right. I would like to thank everyone in service today. We have such a good team. We have Rich at the board desk, and Lindy, and our beautiful flutist, and the sound team, and Doug and Ronnie, and the kitchen cookies, and of course me and Charlie. Charlie always comes early to open up half of everything, so I can be a little late, which is really nice. We appreciate Charlie a lot. Appreciate him a lot. If you have a cell phone, if you turn it off or on airplane mode, we'd appreciate that. And if you're new with us today, we have a wonderful welcome packet. All you have to do is raise your hand, and Doug will bring one to you. Here's one new. Okay. One. Going twice. 3 times. Okay. Oh. Front row. Oh, great. Thank you. And right here, and right there. Okay. One more time. Hands up so Doug knows where to go. Oh, great. Okay, one more. Run. Sue said this would only be an hour, so we got a lot going on here. There we go. Well, we're welcoming. Very happy to have you here. And if I can be of service afterwards, show you around the grounds. We have 3.5 acres here, and it's really beautiful today, especially the daffodils, all the good daffodils out there. All right, we have some focus announcements, and there's a lot, so I'm going to be fast. And you have them in your program, too. Okay, Sharian Wyndham, the best watercolor teacher in the state, is going to be having a next round of classes starting Monday, April 10th, 9:30 a.m. to noon, and it's 5 weeks on basic dynamics for watercolor composition, and she is excellent. Reverend Sue has Sacred Sisters Women's Group Monday, April 10th, 7 to 8:30. The subject is the energy patterns that connect us to our personal power. Also that evening, April 10th, Roy Wolfsted's Men's Group meets from 7 to 9 about creating friendship within the men of the center. Sue is going to have a 6-week class, Living Spiritual Truth, starting Wednesday, April 12th, 7 to 8:30 p.m., and bringing to life the wisdom of the Yoga Sutras, and she's really, really good at that. And then Thursday morning from 10 to noon, I have a caregiver support group, and it's been extremely wonderful. It's a small group, and anybody's welcome, but it's always nice to know people are going through the same thing when it comes to caregiving. It's been very helpful to me. And then the Spiritual Music Jam, once again, Friday, April 14th, 7 to 8:30. And then if you have something that you would like to see added to our whole facility here, there's an endowment program, a grants program, and it's an application to use funds to do maybe a particular thing that you think would be helpful for all of us. There's a form at the board desk, I believe. It's due May 1st. And Cher, come on up.
It's shining outside. It's wonderful. And guess what's happening out there in the ground? What's happening, Jim? Yay! So our adventure group called SOAR, which is for Spirit of Adventure Renewed, is doing one of our most popular adventures this next Saturday, coming up on the 15th. Our resident botanist will make the micro wildflowers macro with close-up lenses. So don't miss it. It's the most popular event of our year. Thank you.
Sounds great. Sounds great.
We're probably gonna carpool, and so we're probably gonna meet here at 8:45, organize carpools and leave at 9, right?
Sounds good. Sounds like a real adventure to me. And we have a used book sale coming up Sunday, April 16th through May 7th. So bring your books in very soon. And I'm going to be getting rid of a lot of mine, so I'm happy to have that coming. There's a survey in the foyer next to the Kleenex box. I was trying to remember where it was. If you would grab one of these and fill it out for the board, they would really appreciate it. There's some really good questions on here. And the Awareness Bookstore, I walked through there this morning. There are so many new things in there. I could not stop. I just had to keep looking. It's wonderful. Lori's done a fabulous job. So please take some time and check out the bookstore when you can. And one of our friends here has formed a band, and it's called the Wild Dragons, and he wanted everyone to know that they'll be playing at the Pride Festival in June. So that's kind of cool. Yeah. That is so cool. All right, where are we here? We're going to have a reading. Lori's going to do... Oh, Doug Held, are you here? He's behind you. He's behind me. Come here. I usually see you about right there. This is a person, if you haven't met Doug, you're missing out on a treat because he has jumped into everything since he started here. Everything, included every classic and take, landscape team, choir. Man, you are awesome. So I get to give you the certificate for Revealing Wholeness class that you took with me.
Well,
so
wonderful.
There you are.
Well, thank you very much.
All right. He's amazing, absolutely amazing. All right, now we'll have Lori do a reading, and then I'll invite the bell Christy will do it, bell 3 times. And then I'll do a spiritual mind treatment, which is our form of affirmative prayer. And then Reverend Sue is going to talk about personal transformation.
After the resurrection, Jesus presented his wounds to his grieving friends. John 20:20 says, Jesus came and stood among his disciples and said, "Peace be with you." Then he showed them his hands and his side. He did not try to hide the mark from the spear, and he did not wear gloves to conceal his injured hands. He was shameless, like a middle-aged woman with stretch marks wearing a two-piece. And in the same way Jesus was unashamed of his wounded body, he was also unafraid of the human bodies he encountered in his ministry. He never recoiled from disease or deformity. We've seen how he reached out his hand to touch the bodies of lepers, the blind, the possessed, those who were wounded physically, spiritually, and socially. And he knew that in his resurrection he would be known by his brokenness and scars. Isn't that true for us as well? We can only really know and be known when we show how life has marked us. I never really feel a connection to someone until they have shared with me the lumpy, broken, or even petty parts of themselves. Our pain and failure, the things we so often try to hide, the things that create shame, the things that scar, are what give us texture. And without texture, there is nothing for others to connect to. Excerpted from Shameless by Nadia Bowles-Weber.
On this especially beautiful day, Easter Sunday, we all know that it has something to do with God because we honor the Creator every day of our lives, recognizing we have been created by the One. And for that reason, I know for myself, and so many of you here, that at this center we have been personally transformed many times. From a beginner who walks in and goes, "This is home," to taking our first classes, Science of Mind classes, and finding that this truth, this philosophy, changes our lives in so many ways over time. And always for the better. So this Easter morning, I am so grateful that we honor the infinite intelligence that created all, that the children have joy and happiness finding eggs planted with love, and that we all take time today to be grateful for the transformations that have already happened and those yet to come. So in deep gratitude, I release these words knowing it's really true. It's really true that God is all there is, that you are one with that, and that today and every day when we practice this teaching, we feel the joy, the happiness, and the love that permeates all. And so it is. Reverend Sue.
So when I speak in here, can you guys hear okay? Yes, thank you. Okay, all right. Way cool, purple. She dipped her head in the egg dye. Looks beautiful. All right, I'll pay attention to you guys now. Good morning. Good morning. These lovely flowers were on behalf of Jim Nelson's property. So a crew of people went out. He has quite the beauty out there. And they harvested some flowers for us today for a ceremony that we're going to do towards the end of my talk. So thank you, Jim, and those people that helped him. And also, Jim's provided some salmon in the social hall. So I know, we'll call it Easter Nelson Day. So anyway, lots to be grateful for today. So, personal transformation, and our whole talk reminding you that it's all about vulnerability. And I start with something that Eric Butterworth speaks in one of his books, Discover the Power Within You. And I always love how certain ministers have shaped the metaphysical meaning behind some of these sacred holidays that we have. And so we dive in deeper when we celebrate such a day. So metaphysically, these are his words, Easter is the awakening and arising to spiritual consciousness and the Christ within us. When we are born again metaphysically, we see a new spiritual dimension. From the spiritual place in our heart and mind, we know the kingdom of God is indeed within us, as Jesus taught, and anything and everything is possible. Through the resurrection, Jesus demonstrated that the life of God is changeless and eternal for each of us because of our divinity. With all the mysteries of life and death, we can trust that our souls are immortal. Easter is not a passport to another world. It is a time to take a new look at ourselves and awaken to the God self here and now. So as I deliver and share this message today, dovetailing this idea, I invite you to really listen to intuitive knowing inside of you, to what comes up for you as you think of transformation. Because we recognize most of the world traditionally that Easter is about the experience of Jesus as he was transcending the limitation of death. But how much more, as we study this month ourselves, the power of vulnerability, he certainly paves a way to one of the most vulnerable experiences that I think humankind faces. That uncertainty or that question that can come up in all our hearts around death itself. But he allowed himself to lean in to whatever the story was going to unfold for him because he had a deeper faith. He had a deeper understanding, knowing that he was moving through it to something more profound and powerful that would change humanity forevermore, and indeed it did. So we look at our own lives, just as the reading that Lori read so beautifully about Shameless, that we look at all the experiences that we try to kind of tuck away or bury, don't want anybody to know, but they have given us texture. They have given us, we've become interesting people because of those moments in our experience. So Jesus' story was one of the greatest ones of personal transformation. So as we look at the threshold each day of what we're facing in our own personal journeys, Earnest Holmes reminds us, there is something within you beyond all doubt and fear. Something that which has never been limited by any of your acts or destroyed by a feeling that you have. There is something that can make you whole. So Earnest Holmes so powerfully puts us back in our seat of consciousness to know how exciting and how personal this can be. We rest in the knowing, just what he is saying there, that there is something within us that has never been destroyed, but it is only strengthened by the challenges that we face. And I know when we're in the midst of a storm, it doesn't feel like we're getting stronger. It feels like we just want to dive under a bed and just hide. But truly, the place of our individualized expression is bursting forth with the spirit that resides within us all. This is our most authentic self, longing to be an expression. And this space is pushed by that creative urge, impresses upon us to allow ourselves to feel the very essence of the divine, the sweet love, the potentiality that is known there. This is what Jesus knew. This is the Jesus, the Christ. And he knew that this Christ knowing, the principle of Christ lives and moves and breathes in each of us. So last week I had quoted that Earnest Holmes said, we resist being who we really are, but we need to accept that fuller expression of our mind that is within us, longing to reveal itself. And he also said, for it's in that creative flow through us that rests our entire future. The greater person that we are and the richer life we desire to enjoy is right there, beating in our heart field, longing to be expressed. So he reminds us, come then to this great reservoir of nature, to this infinite side of ourselves in full and simple trust, in confidence and in faith. So the story of the resurrection can leave us feeling rather serious about life as well. But I want to go deeper. I want to go deeper into the happiness. That's one of the divine qualities of the essence that dwells within us. And Jesus' followers certainly felt that ecstatic joy and happiness and probably confusion when they saw Jesus walk again in a whole different form. But there's where faith came, they believed in the appearance before him. So as we share today and talk a little bit more about that message of joy, Ram Dass says, as we play the edge of our pain, which Jesus did, gently opening, acknowledging, and allowing, the suffering it has caused diminishes. If we further dissolve the boundaries, letting ourselves enter into the pain and the pain enter into us, we can see the possibility of going beyond it to where the heart is freer. We've never been so vulnerable, so defenseless, and yet somehow so safe. The surrender we were so frightened of turns out to be not defeat, but a kind of victory. Now, you might be in your happy place today. That's a great, I celebrate that. But there's times where life took us down to our knees, and we didn't know what direction we were going to go. That's the human condition, and nobody's left out of that. Being on a spiritual path doesn't mean, whoopity-doo, it's going to be easy now. It's actually even perhaps more challenging. So the real lesson here is to remember that we have the divine right to be happy. And there was a quote in Job that says, and the sons, and I'll add the sons and daughters of God shouted for joy. And in the book of John, Jesus stated, these things have I spoken unto you, that my joy might remain in you, and that your joy be full. So I echo that. May the words today live in you as a joy reborn inside of you as we plant the seeds of our divine knowing to feel joy and to feel willing to express our happiness to the world. All life conditions will continue to shape us as we remember our true nature. So Joan Chittister is a Catholic that writes the most beautiful interpretations of life through her eyes. And she writes this description of the resurrection. The real lesson may be its strangest, strongest one. When Jesus died, hope died. The apostles grieved the death of Jesus. The public was scandalized. The synagogue said, good riddance to a troublemaker. The entire enterprise collapsed. But in the end, out of apparent failure, came new life stronger than it had ever been before. Remember, personalize this, whatever you're going through. This hope, this faith in knowing that you'll come out stronger than ever before. And so too for us. When one phase of life ends, a new one arises if we do not spend too much time grieving the one before it. If we allow a new grace to flow through us. If we accept the fact that the third day, the moment of ultimate incidences, is an ordinary moment of time turned Christic, turned salvic, which means having the power to save or redeem, turned new. Resurrection strikes failure to the core. I so value the shifting and re-instructions of some of these stories of our childhood that we grew up with, and to see it in new light. So the gift today, joy, looking at the transformation. And so I'm going to shift into some stories, because we all know that the butterfly, which is exemplified here in front of me, is another one of the stories of transformation, true transformation. And it is from the cocoon stage to the butterfly. And I also kind of, in my own head, am thinking, because I'm not going to tell you my science project about moths, even though I did my ant talk last week, but I also know that maybe you aren't reborn a butterfly and you become a moth. But what's wrong with a moth? They just flutter and they have powder that gets on you, but they're still extraordinary. So this parable that I want to share with you in just a few moments, again, keep going back to your own journey. Because maybe you're already in that butterfly stage. And maybe you already feel pretty much set free from the conditions of your past. Or perhaps you're right in the middle of a metamorphosis that's still in process. The story of how the caterpillar transforms into a butterfly is the metaphor of transforming our states of consciousness from one dimension to another, to undergo a deep experience that leads to a whole new capacity of being and perceiving. So as you hear the story I'm about to share, I want you to hear it on a felt sense. Hear it with your heart, and how your consciousness leans into it in a different way. Because for a while, we all know that there was a period of time where our thoughts and our beliefs went unchallenged. Everything just seemed fine. Skippity-doo-dah. That's the way we just lived our day. Skippity-doo-dah. And then all of a sudden it feels like, what doo-dah did I step in? So it can flip very easily into looking at where we are in the process of our own soul's evolution. And some days you feel like, I cannot even digest one more way of my old thinking. I'm tired of all of this. We withdraw, and the world is changing so much, and we feel like we cannot cope. And everything seems more lifeless and depressing. But that's the vulnerability at its core. That's the juice. And so as we maybe feel confused, disoriented, then to what are the next steps, it feels hopeless. That's where Richard Bach describes it, that the caterpillar calls the end of the world, and the master calls it the butterfly. I think Emerson, in his famous quote, was on spot here, because he reminds us to get our own bloated nothingness out of the way so this can happen. So if you try to hurry along the cocoon process, that poor little creature ends up with a big bloated head, and he has no strength in his wings to fly, because we took its power away from them. So codependence, listen up here. This is going to make whatever experience someone that you love very, very much is going through, let them find their wings. Let them find their wings. And so this idea of allowing whatever experience it is, it's going to stimulate the imaginal cells within all of us to come to fruition. So as we integrate these images today and the possibilities of our own moving into a lightness to set us free and the beauty, here is the story. It's a little bit different than you might imagine. Once there was a little creature resting on the branch of a mighty oak that was the father of the forest. That little creature was sitting there sighing from time to time, crying a little bit, its tiny body almost buckling under some unseen weight. Finally, the great old oak could listen no longer. In a voice belonging to a giant that was also as gentle as a breeze, the mighty oak spoke. "Little creature, what is wrong with you?" The little creature, surprised to hear such concern coming from anyone, let alone a tree in which it was perched, but sensing the overwhelming kindness that came along without question, it answered as best it knew. The words came fairly spilling out of its mouth as if pent-up steam of water waiting and longing to be released. Don't you see? I'm not sure. I know that's not all true. Whoa, slow down there, little one, the oak spoke in a measured tone, attempting to quiet the creature. No need to be in a hurry with me. I've been standing here for centuries, and I'm not going anywhere. Can you be a little more specific about why you're suffering and what it's over, and maybe we can get to the why part of it? Somewhat becalmed by the words, the creature started over. No matter what or how I look at it, nothing makes sense. I mean, I was sure it would be different than this. Have you thought that? I'm sure it was going to be different than this. The oak considered it for a moment and asked the only question it could. What exactly was it that you thought would be so different? The little creature came out of his thoughts for a moment as it realized the tree couldn't see what was so obvious to it. Why, I being a butterfly, of course. When I used to think about becoming a butterfly, I thought to myself my problems would be left behind me, beneath me, if you will. But everything still irritates me. And the little creature lowered its voice somewhat so as to be sure no one else could hear its next comment. I'm afraid a lot of the time. I figured that after I became a butterfly, I just wouldn't have the fears that I used to have. But I still do, and that's not all. The past, it's bothering me. I was not sure that as a butterfly, my former life wouldn't be a problem for me anymore. I don't know what's going on. The tall oak looked at the little creature and knew instantly what was wrong. Yes, I see. You've made a lot of sense here now. Now let me ask you a couple more questions. We both need to get to the bottom if we're going to solve this mystery. And the little creature said, oh, God, thank you so much. The oak continued, do you find yourself getting tripped up quite often? The little creature thought, you know what? I do get tripped up. Yes, I trip quite often, as a matter of fact. And how about this? The tree followed. Do you spend a lot of time chewing over things? Well, yeah, I spend a lot of time chewing over things. And are there times when it takes you a long time to get out of your own way? The little creature, so amazed at the accuracy of the practitioner tree's questions. You've tagged it for me. All these things you said to me are true. Well, the great oak spoke again. I've figured out the mystery here. Are you sure you want to know the answer? Yes. Of course I do, said the creatures. Somewhat surprised, please go ahead. All right then, said the tree, carefully measuring out the medicine it knew would be bitter for the little creature clinging to its branch. Here's the reason for your continuing confusion about why life isn't to your liking. You aren't a butterfly yet. You're still a caterpillar. Uh-oh. Okay, that's a lot for you to chew on. But it's the ideas here that we share together that I find most beneficial to me as I listen to your stories, as you listen to mine, that we realize we're reverently listening to one another because we can't pull each other out of the cocoon that we're in, that we have to softly, gently emerge on our own, in our own time. And so I'm going to invite Joey up here. He's going to play the flute. I'm going to ask Doug and your ushers to be prepared to invite you to just stand in quiet reflection from where you are, and you're going to come up and receive a flower. And Charlie, can you get the butterflies over here? And a butterfly. So the flowers here, their yellow color is a color of personal power. So I want you to claim that for yourself, whatever stage you're in metamorphosis. I want you to feel that you are receiving today a gift, that you can allow the flower to linger as long as you'd like. One of the ones that I had from Jim's property lasted a month in its little vase of water, and I was continually informed by that flower. And then these butterflies, just take one and place it anywhere in your home. Go place it on a tree outside, but let it be a visual reminder that today is your day of resurrection, your day of transformation. So that being said, if you have trouble coming forward, the ushers will tag you and bring you back a flower. But I hope that you all take the journey forward. We don't do a lot of ritual here, but this ritual is designed for you. Joey. Stand in the middle, Charlie. Thank you. Just thank you. Thank yourselves as well. To realize we all are called in moments. I'm kind of uncomfortable to go out there. What will people think? All that's here is love. That's all that meets you. That's all that's been handed to you is love. And that idea, that same greeting, peace be unto you. So that closes my message today, but the idea of be ye transformed. If you could take the metaphysical meaning to heart today and just allow yourself, as Mark Nepo says, the sweetness of living comes to us when the very humanness that we regret and try to hide, our seeming flaws and shameful secrets, are worked by time and nature into a honey all their own. Ultimately, it is where we are not perfect, where we are broken and cracked, where the wind whistles through. That is the stuff of transformation. So I'm going to step out on my own branch because I'm still a caterpillar. But I want you just to close this message with the sound of Om. And I'm going to have the choir do one Om here. And now you. Start it here. This person, we're going to start here, and then it's going to pick up. So watch my hand. Go.
If there's one thing I know and love about Sue, it's ceremony, and this was exquisite.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Yes. So if the ushers can come forward, please. No. Oh, sorry.
Have a seat. It's okay. I forgot we were behind you for a minute.
To sing a joyful song.
Ready?
Yeah, we're gonna sing a joyful song.
Sing out your song with one voice. Alleluia.
Awesome. Thank you. Whew. All right, now Tasha's can come forward. How did you do all the different? It was just amazing. Just amazing. Practiced? As we prepare to give our offering this morning, I know our hearts are just filled with love and appreciation, since what is offered here is for our spiritual well-being. We're filled with gratitude, knowing that life stays in balance, for we know the truth is, as we give, we receive. And so I give thanks for the blessed donations here received this morning and those that come in during the week. I know each dollar supports the spiritual family in so many ways as we grow together, play together, pray together, and give thanks for all that this center offers each and every one of us. We feel blessed today and always, and so it is.
Grand finale.
so awesome. Will the mother with the little baby come up here so everybody can see that baby? Oh, please, pretty please. Not to put you on the spot, but you're the only one with a baby. I mean, look at this little face. I kept getting distracted on what I was talking about. She's a little ode to joy for all of us. We don't get to see many babies. So thank you. Thank you for sharing her. Yeah. So sweet. So feel the feelings that you have right now in a sweet, open heart, and go enjoy the fellowship together. We'll see what the kids bring back in on eggs, and if you start seeing eggs coming out of your ears throughout the week, because I don't know how many the kids didn't find, just enjoy being, I found one myself. Be a kid again. So happy Easter, everyone. Thank you, and thank you, Hartsonga Choir. If you guys want to take more, I've got some jars in there. You can take a bouquet if you know somebody that needs some flowers in their life. I'll bring out the box of jars.